Alright, hello, welcome back to another Let's Play Eastfront, continuing on this Operation Barbarossa that we've been doing in the last few videos. I hope whoever ends up watching these videos actually enjoys them, but with that said, let's get it moving. We're back on the German army, and I must say that it's been a few days now since I've actually played the game, and my first observation right now is really just how much the front has changed from a few months ago back in the starting positions that kind of went on this gray line that you can see here. I hope that's pretty clearly seen in the video. But it's called the Curzon line. I don't know why it's called Curzon. If anyone who knows more about military history or knows more about the Eastern Front, please in the comments below can let us know what the Curzon line is, or better yet, why it's called the Curzon line. I would think it would be called the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact line, but for whatever reason, it's Curzon. I'm assuming Curzon is a person, and it's named after somebody or something about the region, perhaps, that kind of makes sense why the line is called what it is. But essentially, as most of us who I think are watching these videos, likes military history, likes the Eastern Front, likes to study it at the very least. We definitely know that this is the starting line, the initial boundary between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. That's what I'm trying to get at right now. The line kind of stops or someone goes through a Hungarian territory, also Transylvania, and then continues on through Romania. And so you can see there, summer 1941 is the starting lines. But yeah, no, we are right now in September. And September, I think, is such a fascinating month of the conflict, and also a very fascinating month in the context of Barbarossa, simply because it really was the last time in which we see the German army achieve success in 1941. I mean, there may have been you can make the argument that there was a few other battles there afterwards that were notably successful, perhaps the encirclements at Rezhev and Vyazma throughout Operation Typhoon, which was effectively the attack on Moscow. But I think September stands out to me because it really was the last period of the war where I don't think the weather had any notable impacts on the German logistics. I think in Operation Typhoon, you started to have rainy seasons, which caused a lot of mud. I believe it was called Rasputista. No, that's not what it's called. But I gotta look that up. But anyways, the mud definitely affected the German army throughout Operation Typhoon, but I don't think you really had that problem in the month of September. And so, of course, the Battle of Kiev was the main show, and the German army achieves, I believe, the largest pocket of military history, or at the very least, one of the largest pockets in World War II. There may have been a few bigger ones. I think perhaps the one that comes to mind to me is when the Allied armies in 1945 encircled the German forces along the Rhine River, the Rhineland pocket, and that was it was the German army group under the leadership of Model, which was one of the late war German generals of World War II. And he was known for his defensive doctrines, and a loyal general to Adolf Hitler. But definitely the encirclement at Kiev, it really wasn't at Kiev. It was actually further east, but I believe it's called the Battle of Kiev for the fact that it's so close to the city itself. And yeah, it was a massive Axis victory. I do think some Soviet units were able to get out of the pocket, but not too many. I think the vast majority were indeed trapped when the encirclement was completed. But in this game, in our scenario, the Soviet army, we had the Soviet army pull out and kind of avoid this riverline defense. Even though it's a very nice defensive line, we decided Soviet forces weren't strong enough to hold it. And so we're in September now. The German army has crossed the river, but the last month of August wasn't really all that exciting. I think mainly because the German army had a lot of catching up to do. But this next month will be September. And right now, all our HQs, at least most of them, are at level 2. We do have production. And so this means that on the next month, this coming month, we will be able to have level 3 HQs across the entire front. So German Army's ability to blitz will be at an all-time high on this month. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because I've been kind of planning for this month, kind of making sure that my HQs were properly timed, so that when we have September come around, we can launch full strength HQs and even blitzes on both fortnights in order to envelop and overwhelm the Soviet army. That's our goal right now, is to destroy the Soviet army. The Soviets have done a really great job of setting up strong defenses. Right now, the defense of Moscow looks pretty good. Defense of Leningrad, they decided to abandon. I made a modification there for the Soviet army, but I felt like it would be a fun modification. And of course, to the south, Kharkov, the entire Donetsk industrial basin does look vulnerable, but we have some work to do before we can actually complete it. The Soviets have a lot of space to defend the region, so we have a lot of ground to cover in the south if we want to achieve a victory, but I think the victory is in our grasp. So with that said, we're going to start the production turn for the German army. Germans have gained some production. They're going to be at 59 because we control 3 regions, Riga, Minsk, Kiev, plus another 2 from Krivoy Rog, which is going to be doubled because it is a mining site. And then we started at 54 by default. So 54 by 5 puts us at 59. And so already the first 50 production, like in other turns that we've seen, I'm going to spend the money on the German HQs, which are quite costly. So already that's 50 production points. That only leaves us with 9. And I think the 9 that I'm going to spend, I think in all likely will be on a Panzer. Although it would be nice to strengthen up some of my infantry. I do think I have some infantry reinforcements coming in. So with that in mind, I'm going to invest my money on a Panzer. And speaking of new German units coming in, we do receive a new corps. It's going to be the 16th Infantry Corps. And I think probably the best place to put it will be at Warsaw, so that it can either support Army Group Center or South relatively well. So yeah, that's going to be production. Very straightforward, not too complicated at all. The next thing to do is to really focus on the operations. So we're going to start the command phase right now. And I already see some notable weaknesses by the German army, or by the Soviet army, rather. I have spent some time studying this, so don't think that I'm a master at this game. I've spent some time analyzing and trying to figure out what some weaknesses. One weakness I noticed is that we can cut off the rail line at Mariupol. We, at the very least, can deploy a unit to contest the area. And in doing so, if we also decide to attack Kharkov as well, we effectively cut off the rail supply of pretty much all the frontline factory areas. We can cut off Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporozhye from supplies, because the supply lines are going to have to be further back at somewhere like Kupiansk or Voroshilovgrad. So I do think that taking advantage of that will be beneficial, which is why I do think that for the southern operations, I'm actually going to activate Army Group A instead of Army Group South. And the reason behind that is because I'm actually going to save Army Group South HQ for the second fortnight, so that it can activate in a much more effective position. Right now, the position in Army Group South isn't all that effective. I can obviously advance a lot of troops forward. That's not a problem. I can advance the entire front forward really well. I could even support attacks at Odessa. But the problem I have with Army Group South is that at a later stage, I won't be able to do any breakthrough operations, which are what are needed to actually secure Kharkov and Stalino. To take these cities, I could either attack the cities directly, or I think more effectively, I can envelop the cities, encircle the cities. Of course, I would have to destroy the Soviet army at Izium, right here between the two, and then proceed to do some kind of pincer movement around the cities, which is quite doable, but I need an HQ right now within range of doing that. If Army Group A was at level 2, I could have done it and saved it for the second fortnight, but it's only at level 1, so it cannot blitz in the month of September. That's probably the only weakness I think I see for the German armies right now, is the fact that Army Group A is not at full strength right now. But I think I can remedy that problem by activating Army Group A. Yes, it means that in the month of October, it can't blitz, but it's going to be a necessary sacrifice, I think, if I want to use Army Group South to blitz later on. So with that said, we're going to activate Army Group A. And I've been looking at the front. I can't really move too many other units forward. You know, I can only move the units that are immediately in the pocket, but I really don't have to advance too many. I just need to advance enough. I need to advance Army Group South, and I need to advance enough units to cut off the supplies of these areas. So further south, of course, I'm going to have to move some of these units, whether it be the 49th or the 48th or the 44th Corps, but they're not in range of Army Group A, obviously. So I'm going to have to activate OKW. And I think that's kind of the next major step in my moves is activating OKW. So let's go ahead and do that as well. And so we're going to ideally use OKH. I said OKW, didn't I? I meant to say OKH, Oberkommando hier, not Oberkommando Wehrmacht. Oberkommando hier is the high command of the army. And ideally, since it has 6 moves, because it is a supreme HQ, and you always double the total amount of moves by the combat value, ideally, I would actually just use the 6, supreme moves to deploy our reinforcements to the front line, because there's a lot of German units that are right now kind of left behind, effectively. I have the 28th left behind, 35th, 16th, the 5th, also the 43rd and the 12th. And they were left behind for a number of different reasons, mostly because they were left behind to encircle and destroy Soviet pockets, right? With the 16th being new reinforcements. So ideally, I could move 1, 2 in the north, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 German corps. That's the equivalent of 2 German armies to the front. The only problem, of course, is that if I decide to do that now, I won't be able to advance any of my frontline units. So already we're seeing a bit of an efficiency problem by the sole fact that Army Group A was not at full strength at the start of the turn. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. So I am going to have to sacrifice my reinforcement moves to instead move some frontline units. And I do think it's still a worthwhile investment of moves, because I do want to cut off the Soviet forces as much as I can. I'm not really obsessed with Crimea right now. My main focus really is to take the Donetsk before I decide to go after the Crimean Peninsula. So there's all of that. Here in the north or center, I think I'm going to go and activate Army Group North. And I'm going to use Army Group North to basically, I think it may even be a blitz. And I want to put as much pressure as I can on the Soviets to the north. And I think the main attack that I have planned right now, based off of my analysis, is actually going for Kalinin. If I can break through a Kalinin, I can do some serious damage on the Soviets. I could cut off the entire Soviet forces to the north, which would be nice. So I do think that making a breakthrough at Kalinin, at the very least, if I can't take the city now, at the very least, I can put some serious pressure in the north and force the Soviets to react to the north, which is really what I want to do. And then I can use Army Group Center at a later stage to then kind of drop the hammer and then try to blast the Soviets to the south of Moscow. And the goal right now is essentially to start Operation Typhoon as soon as possible, while at the same time having an operation to the south. So a number of operations are going to be going on in the month of September, but the goal here is to overload the Soviet high command, the Soviet ability to respond. And I think in some capacity, we're going to come out with a strategic victory somewhere. Probably not everywhere, but at least somewhere. And that's really what I want. I want to have a successful year with as much damage on the Soviet army as I can before winter sets in. So we are going to go on the attack. Army Group North will be deployed there, and I think I'll start the moves here. One of the first moves I'm going to do is move the 20th forward, and then we're going to move the 2nd. Oh yeah, actually, we're going to actually support this attack here. Attack with as many troops as we can. And since this is a blitz, I can actually use my units at a later stage, which would be awesome. So yeah, we'll try to attack like that. We'll see how that goes. And then notice how I'm moving the 41st Panzer Corps to the south so that it can support other operations here. I have a lot of panzers, by the way, concentrated in this sector. Just so many, it's ridiculous. I don't need so many panzers near Moscow right now. We're going to send 2 panzers to Kalinin, so a whole panzer army basically will drive to Kalinin. And I also wanted to put some pressure on Klin if I could. Ideally send a panzer there, but don't think I have really any that I can send at the present moment, which sort of sucks. So I need to figure out what other combination I want to do. I do think I was planning on attacking Mozaic with 2 units, like so. Yeah, and I think actually I can send 1 unit here, 1 infantry rather, to the north there, and then I'm going to move up this infantry, and he's going to attack the unit at Klin. And that leaves me with just a few more panzers, and I am going to be bringing up some reinforcements by rail. I know that much. I think it's in my best interest if I can get as many troops as I can somewhere to the front line. I think Vyazma is probably the best defensive position, and I think I wanted to put 2 units there to really beefing up the defenses in case the Soviets decide to do any kind of sneaky counterattack or something like that, which would be problematic to say the least. And then I have this 1 extra infantry over here. In all likelihood, I kind of want to deploy to the north, just because it is a handy unit to then substitute the position of the 47th Army, right? Because I really don't need another German unit over there. Of course, this means I won't have too many reinforcements being sent over to the north, but I think we're going to have to make do with what we have. And we'll go like that. And then I'm also going to move Army Group Center further east. And, honestly, these 2 panzers for now, I'm actually going to leave them over here because they are within range of the blitz phase of Army Group. Oh, actually, I could even leave them. Yeah, that seems fine. I just want to make sure that they're in range of blitz range of Army Group North. So yeah, we've got some pretty nice attacks going on, plenty of, and I have 2 HQs right now. So OKH can provide some air support, which is really cool to see, and I think I will send OKH to support the attack on Mozaic, and then another one to Kalinin. And then I would ideally support the attack at Stadialskol, but I'm not really obsessed or worried about the attack there. I can always pull my forces out again if need be. We're going to leave, of course, the 26th Corps behind to deal with the Soviet pocket. And that pretty much sums up the operations in Army Group North. Then I have to do the operations here in the south. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go for Kharkov to cut off that rail. And I was also trying to figure out where else to put my units. I'm thinking, I could try something like this. It's kind of awkward because I am leaving part of the front somewhat open. And, if the Soviets decide to go around, they could cut off my supply lines, which would indeed be a notable problem. But I think we're going to have to make do. I'm also moving the 30th to go for Dnipropetrovsk just to pin down the Soviets there. I do want to see that. And honestly, if I leave the 3rd Corps, actually, I may even use it to support the attack on Kharkov, and then I can pull out the 57th and leave it there in Krasnodar. This is a pretty good maneuver, and the nice thing is that the Soviet forces here would be cut off in some capacity at the very least. I think I just need to bring up some German reinforcements, and so we definitely are going to need to move up Army Group South. That's going to be 1. Another to Konotop would be nice. That's 2, and then maybe 2 more here in the south, 3 and 4, and then I am going to move up some reinforcements to the Moscow sector, some infantry, very much needed infantry over here as well. So yeah, I think these moves are pretty much done. I probably should deploy Army Group A, over here. And frankly, I don't know if I should even move up the 57th and put it where it's at over here, or maybe I instead decide to leave it further back in case the Soviets do decide to exploit our kind of vulnerability here. There will be a hole in the front, and if they decide to go there, I just want to make sure that we have supply lines that are intact, and just make sure that all our forces are in supply. I think we'll be fine because we're going to have supply lines that go through Alexandria up to Kremenchug, and our railhead should be at Poltava if the Soviets do decide to go around. And that's really where I need it to be in order to ensure that the area is secure. Or I could send up 2 infantry, 2 reinforcements there, 1, 2. That means only 1 less in the north, which obviously creates problems. I'm probably only going to send up 1 infantry, honestly. The other concern I probably should have is if they decide to blitz and attack the 52nd Corps, it's going to be pretty vulnerable to enemy attack. So maybe actually I decide, I may even just leave it here, I guess. And then put another infantry at Konotop, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of a tough call to make, but or maybe we just attack with 1 unit in Kharkov. That's probably really our best bet. So I guess I should return this HQ and keep it activated. Let's just do the turn all over again. Just keep it activated just to show that it has command range over some of these units. And then, yeah, we'll put the Panzer up here. So now we have 2 Panzers guarding the flanks, which definitely is a lot beefier. And then, honestly, this infantry could probably stay put. And just kind of create a bit of a defense in depth in a way. Yeah, we'll try that. And then, as for strategic moves go, we're going to start moving our strategic moves, starting with the 49th, moving to right outside of Mariupol and just cut off the rail link there. The 44th is going to go for Zaporozhye, so it's 2 strategic moves. The 3rd one is moving up Army Group South, of course. And the 4th one for the South is probably going to be moving up the 35th here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, so that's already 4. Then I need to move 2 more. Starting with the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I got 1 more. We'll move the 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very nice. And we'll put rail markings on them, just to indicate that they are not able to participate in the blitz. Since they move by rail, they're not operationally active. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the battles. So we got a few battles here in the south. And what I'm really excited about is the fact that the Army Group South is definitely putting itself in a much better position to now blitz for the later operations. A lot more infantry are moved up to the front line, which is really nice to see. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for the moves that we plan on doing next. I'm wondering if I should deploy the 48th, but I probably will not, given the situation. But yeah, so we'll start doing some battles now. We'll move to the battles, and we'll start with the battle in Zaporozhye. It is a 1, and no hits on either side. Dnipropetrovsk, no hits either. Very nice. Battle of Kharkov. Let's see what we're up against. 34th Army scores a 1 hit, and then we score no hits. And then for the very interesting battles here in the north, starting the Battle of Mozaic, Soviet air power, or rather German air power, rolls first, scoring half a hit because of the double defense of the mountainous terrain. Defending infantry scores no hits though. Very nice. The Panzers will roll. They score 1 hit. Infantry, no hits. So we scored 1 hit in total. But we got no casualties in the attack. So pretty good attack for a starting move on Moscow. And then I just realized I probably should have had more infantry or more panzers in range in case I did break through, but oh well. But let's see. Airstrike, no hits. Infantry, defending, no hits. The panzers roll. Oof, and they totally get a breakthrough. Very nice. Very nice. I think I should have had some panzers in the rear. I just realized these panzers should have probably been here. And I'm just going to make them be there now that I've actually broken through. I know that was complete, shallow move on my part, but hey, I got to work on my position of units, and they should have been there to support the breakthrough, and I got distracted. So my bad, but it's been done. 5 mech. What is that? A 5 infantry, 5th Infantry Army. No hits, but the attackers roll. Boom. We got a double there. That's what we needed. Very nice. So the Germans broke through. One more battle. Battle east of Bolog, right over here. 31st Army. And no hits. But the defenders actually scored a hit. All right. So yeah, now that it's been done, we can then do our blitz phase. So yeah, these 2 panzers obviously can't move because they are out of range, but I can move up some of the other troops. So for starters, 1, 2, 3 is the move I want to do, and it's going to pretty much put all these units out of supplies. Oh, we also have the Battle of Volkov. So we do score a hit. Ouch. But we scored no hits. Okay. But we're able to go around, which is really cool to see. And then, yeah, I guess I'll send another one right over here to really complete the encirclement, or perhaps, yeah, we actually have a rail line going to Kalinin, which is really cool to see. So we're actually going to put this unit in Rybinsk there, or maybe even I go as far as Yaroslav. That would certainly be an ambitious move. But no, we'll go to Rybinsk for now. We'll send another German panzer, or infantry rather, to Klin. And then we'll move our panzer further south. Very nice. We'll move up an infantry and attack right over here, east of Novgorod. And then the last remaining infantry, we're going to pretty much send back to siege Leningrad. And I have one more panzer that I can actually deploy, which I probably, I could go for an attack in Bolog. I think we'll do this just to plug in the gap. It's overall a pretty good move, I must say. And then Army Group Center, I think we'll stay put where it's at. Or perhaps I deploy a little bit more south so that I can actually move up some troops further south. Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll just leave it where it's at, frankly. And then Army Group North, I probably want it as close to clean as I can. So we'll put it there. Now, of course, the Soviets could, in theory, break through at Rzhev, and we would be in serious trouble if they do something like that. So maybe, Army Group Center stays here, right there, just to make sure nothing tricky happens on the next turn. But yeah, the battle Klin now, no support. Oof, still score a hit though, because it's triple fire. And or we roll 3 hits, and that's what we needed. And we won't do any other battles anywhere else. Oh, we still have a battle over here against the 23rd Soviet Army. They score a hit, ouch. And we score 1 hit. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. But yeah, no, the big breakthrough was the breakthrough at Kalinin. And now we've cut off the Soviets to the north. I mean, he may have actually destroyed a lot of Soviet units. That was really quite a powerful move. We broke through the Leningrad front effectively, and now the Soviets will probably be panicking. And to the south, no more battles, so that's going to end our operations for the German army. So anyways, that pretty much sums up the turn. The situation in Leningrad is looking pretty bad. The Soviet rail supply right now is here, but the problem is that, so these 2 units are actually going to be in supplies. But the other Soviet units that are not in range of that railhead will be out of supplies. So pretty much all the frontline Soviet troops here are out of supplies, which is pretty bad for the Soviets. The equivalent of 4 Soviet armies are right now out of supplies. That's actually really, really bad. So I think the Soviets still have some maneuvers to do to fix the situation, but overall, it's looking pretty rough in the north. And then, of course, the vulnerability of the flank here at Moscow is really, really bad. And so we'll see what the German army proceeds to do next. I'm pretty sure the Soviets are going to have to figure out a miracle, really, to fix this situation, because we need to transfer as much reinforcements as I can to the north. And it may involve abandoning this entire Bryansk salient, which is probably what we need to do as the Soviets. But yeah, no, this turn was excellent. Oh, also, here in the south, the railhead is right now at Rostov, and also still at Kharkov. But unfortunately, since Krasnograd is under German control, the frontline Soviet units at Kremenchug, Dnipropetrovsk, and Zaporozhye currently are all out of supplies. So 3 Soviet units. I believe that's a Soviet Mech Corps. We never actually did the pursuit fire from withdrawing there, so we should do that real quick. No hits. So the 57th Corps can get away in one piece. But overall, 3 Soviet units, 2 Soviet corps, 1 Soviet army are out of supplies. So this turn was pretty good. We've been able to put 7 Soviet units, 8 Soviet units out of supplies on this turn, and we still have 2 full-strength German HQs left for the operations to follow in the next fortnight before the weather really changes. So this is going to be the critical hour, I think, of the campaign. I find the month of September to be so fascinating, given how strong the German HQs can be, and we are at a critical moment. Very different than what we saw in the start of Barbarossa, because the front is obviously a lot bigger than what it was on the starting lines, but we're seeing that the Soviet lines are pretty thin, frankly. So very well done for the German side. Another major successful operation. Now I'm going to see what we can do as a Soviet side to defend. So definitely give the video a like, and definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content down the road. I plan to make more of these videos, continue on with this campaign, and we'll see how the war goes on. But definitely look forward to playing more Eastfront, eventually get around to playing Eurofront, the entire game, the entire conflict from beginning to end. And hopefully down the road, with a little bit more research under my belt, we can actually start doing some more to analyses and actually start getting more into the historiography side of things. So anyways, I can continue ranting about my dreams and goals, but I'm very much enjoying making these videos. Like I said, give the video a like and comment below if you're enjoying this. And, if you got any inputs or any thoughts you want to share about the Eastern Front military campaign, definitely comment below and we can get some pretty good discussions going. So thank you so much, and I will catch you in the next one.